All right, we're rolling.
All right.
3 hacks and a movie podcast with your host. Today, we are, my name is Bentley. Starting off.
And RJ.
And that's our thing we're going to do in every episode where we started off.
Or try to until we forget. Or whatever. I'm sure it'll happen.
And today was RJ's movie. I think we skipped mine, honestly. Like, I'm not really sure at this point if we're going to do a podcast for the last movie we watched previously.
I think we watched whatever.
We didn't do one for Lost Highway.
Well, right. Sorry. Yeah, well, you're right. We didn't do one for Lost Highway.
But we'll save that for the future, maybe. And put that in a bag.
Yeah, a couple.
If it makes you feel better, I'm pretty sure I got skipped at some point. If it makes you feel any better.
I don't think you have yet.
No, I think it was like, technically before the podcast when we were just watching movies.
Right, but we were recording.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But recording, we missed one for you.
Yeah. We also didn't do one for Buffalo 66.
I know. That was a real bummer because I really wanted to talk about that one, to be honest.
Eventually I think we should circle back to those two, like do a rewatch of both of them eventually. Because I do want to talk about Lost Highway. I was just... that was a lot to take in.
It's... I'll have to watch a few YouTube videos so I can prepare for it properly, so other people can tell me what it means. But
those video essayists you hate so much, Bentley.
Today's movie was done by another American directors,
plural.
The
Coen brothers.
Yeah. So
Joel and Ethan Coen.
What did we watch today, RJ? Since it's your pick, roll us into it.
We watched Inside Llewyn Davis, which is I would say it's a film.
Okay.
About a folk musician in New York City in 1960s, kind of like just going through the motion of life and trying to make it as a musician. Yeah.
Refuses to work a normal job because he needs to be a musician, and apparently musicians can't have normal jobs in this world until they make it.
He doesn't want to just exist, as he says.
That whole exist line was interesting, to say the least.
He basically calls anybody who's like trying to make a career out of their jobs or whatever a sellout. I forget exactly what he says, but he basically calls his like old girlfriend a sellout.
A square.
Yeah.
Because it's the 60s, right?
Yeah, it's funny because when he did say that, I think his sister brought up a good point where she's just like, "Oh, what? So there's only show business?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, that sounds awful. Like for a lot of people, show business sounds like the worst fucking thing in the world. Like I get it, you want to be famous and rich or whatever, but a lot of people actually don't want to be fucking famous.
And then everybody outside of show business just simply exists.
Yeah, dude, we're fucking drones apparently if we're not, trying to suck Harvey Weinstein's dick or whatever." That's kind of what I got off of him.
This character, Llewyn Davis, is very like just in his own thing. Like he doesn't really care about anybody else's like lives or anything. He's just very self-absorbed,
self-centered. Yeah. You see that a lot because he, with his relationship with Jean.
Yeah.
Because he gets her pregnant. She's already in a relationship with another guy, and
they all seem to be like good friends, right?
Yeah,
which makes it so much worse. Yeah. Well, I think about honestly, dude, Jean, fuck her, dude. She was pissing me off the entire fucking movie. Like, I get it. She hates Llewyn, whatever, for whatever being like a selfish asshole, and she calls him an ass. I swear I heard asshole more than any other word in this fucking movie just because of her. But honestly, she was pissing me off. She's just like you knock up people who are already in relationships. I'm like, bitch, you're the girl he knocked up. You're the one in the relationship. How are you the one talking shit? I fucking hated her, dude. She was so fucking annoying that entire movie. The end, she finally was like okay, but God, dude, I don't remember the last time I was so annoyed at a character that I watched in a movie.
Yeah, she definitely wasn't very likable at the beginning. Yeah, but I mean, she was just lashing out at Llewyn the entire time.
Yeah, in reality, she was probably just lashing out at herself because it's like. He even calls her out, like, it takes two to tango. And she's like, what'd you say? Like, yeah, dude, like, unless you're about to fucking claim rape or something, yeah, it fucking took two, and now you're pissed off because you got fucking pregnant like a dumbass. But yeah, she was just she was just not a likable character, man. She was very irritating, honestly. And then who's it? That's Carey Mulligan.
Carey Mulligan, yeah.
Who is? I don't think I've ever heard of this girl, to be honest.
She's done a bunch of stuff. She was in Drive. She was like the love interest in Drive.
Oh, really?
Right.
Oh, wow.
Which is funny
I did
because
not recognize her.
Which Drive though? There's a few Drives.
Drive
One that won the
2010.
Oscar.
No, like the 2010 Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. They
Right,
call it like
right.
a neo, no, not neo noir. I don't know. There was something weird. There was a lot of synthesizer in that fucking thing.
Which is funny because in that movie, her boyfriend in the movie is Oscar Isaac, which is Llewyn.
Oh, right.
Which is Llewyn Davis.
Yeah, you're right. I fucking forgot about that. Holy shit.
Yeah,
That's
it's
been a while since
two
I've seen that
movies
movie.
where they kind of played love interests with each
Wow,
other.
I did not realize that was her. Wow, holy shit. And apparently she's British, and I didn't pick that up. So, gosh, man, I'm really bad at picking that up, honestly.
Yeah, she's married to Mumford from Mumford and Sons.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, because I remember hearing some like behind the scenes stuff about Inside Llewyn Davis, and for some reason I remember hearing that there was like a famous like rock star or folk singer like in it or helped it or something to
I was
do
gonna
with
ask,
it.
like, did someone from like Mumford and Sons or like the Fleet Foxes make the music for this or sing for it? Maybe.
I think most of the music
the songs.
was done by their usual music guy, T-Bone Burnett. He does most of the Coen Brothers
Really?
music.
So
Yeah.
he wrote all the folk songs for this?
I don't know if he wrote all of them, but I know he did. Like he was the whatever the
He wrote
music
the
guy.
Spaceman song, that novelty spaceman
Something
song.
Mr. Kennedy, right? Or whatever. Please, Mr.
Please, Mr.
Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Yeah, T-Bone Burnett was the executive music producer for the movie. So I don't know what that all entails, but you know.
Well, that means that he got everybody together, like the singers, the songwriters, the performers. He got them together to record.
Right. But I know in one of the songs, it is the Mumford dude.
Right.
Okay,
gonna-
so that's what I was thinking of.
And
then.
in the pictures of his album, when it shows him and his former partner, the one who like in the story kills himself,
Yeah.
like that's the picture is of the Mumford dude.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why I picture the lead singer
I forgot what the guy's name
like
is.
fat and with a huge bushy beard. That's kind of how I picture him in my head. So I didn't.
Marcus Mumford.
Like he uses beard oil and drinks like
Beard,
distilled whiskey.
butter. I don't know.
bourbon.
Right.
Is that a thing? Period black comedy drama film.
Film.
Oh, God, that's okay. Yeah, honestly, I had no idea that this was a period piece until we watched it. For some reason, I just
Like until the end?
I never saw that.
You thought it was like current day or something?
Yeah, kind of. Until I watched it. And even in the beginning, I was like, oh, okay. The first thing that made me think it wasn't, honestly, was one, the elevator operator, which is like obviously pretty early in the movie or film, whatever. And then the payphone usage. I was like,
Right.
wait, okay. I think this is actually a lot older than I think it is. And then, yeah. And then I start seeing like the cars and whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this makes so much more sense.
Yeah,
But-
I think you missed it then because it definitely said at the very beginning,
Yeah,
1961.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. For those who don't know, I did ask what year this was, and I don't know how I missed that, but yeah, I guess in the very beginning it says 1961.
It's an interesting year to set the movie because that's like a couple years before the Beatles broke through. You know, like rock and roll was kind of doing its thing, but the folk like Bob Dylan didn't really start yet.
Right.
And the movie
Yeah.
kind of addresses that at the end.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I was about to ask, when does Bob Dylan start like becoming a thing?
Probably like 62 or 3, like around the same time as the Beatles.
Yeah, that's usually what I associate it with.
So this is like sort of in that era of like the culture kind of finding itself and figuring itself out, you know, with like the Beatles and Bob Dylan becoming the biggest guys.
There was
It's
something.
cool period.
I mean, I know people who are into folk music, but obviously, I don't know. It's still just not the most popular music genre by any means. But I thought it was funny, like, because I don't know, like, Llewyn seems so set that he's gonna make it as a folk singer when that apparently hasn't really been a thing at this point in history. Or I don't know, because I felt like there was like no one they talked about that they were looking up to, like, oh, this is like the biggest folk singer out.
Woody
right now, right?
Guthrie and some
I don't know.
other
I mean, I don't know.
people.
That name sounds familiar, but I don't know
Yeah.
who that is, to be honest. And then I was thinking, like, oh, like he's so set in being like a folk singer, and then he works with other people who are basically like want to be folk singers or also trying to make it as folk singers. And then like every performance at the Gaslight Cafe was a folk singer, and I'm like, damn, people like like this world is like they're never gonna have to worry about running out of fucking folk singers because everyone was trying to make it as a folk singer in the early 60s apparently, and nothing else.
It's like podcasters nowadays.
I swear, dude.
Yeah, we're calling ourselves out. That's good.
Self-proclaimed.
He starts hanging out with some jazz musicians, and I'm kind of upset that they never show him playing. You know, I kind of want to see him like the jazz guys that he's hanging out with, like playing the club, like John Goodman.
Right, yeah. John Goodman plays a jazz musician, and then he has his like handler. He calls him his valet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he was like a musician too, or like
What was his name?
Johnny
assistant.
Five.
Johnny Five. There we go.
He's played by Garrett Hedlund.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Tulsa
cat.
King fame, if anyone
Real
watches
cat.
Tulsa King. Yeah. But no, that was cool. Dude, fucking, as soon as I saw John Goodman, I was like, yes, because I fucking love John Goodman. I'll watch anything with John Goodman in it, especially if it's a Coen Brothers project. I'm 110% on board. And yeah, I fucking love this character, even though obviously he was like a fucking asshole. And then
He plays a like a heroin addict, or I don't know, maybe it's morphine
you
or
say
something.
he is a jazz musician, right?
Right, yeah, he says he
Seems
was
like
a jazz
it.
musician. He says that at some point.
Okay.
I was wondering if he was like touring or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, because I still didn't fully understand what the whole ride with the ride to Chicago was. And it's like, yeah, like some people are gonna take this car to Chicago. They just want another person, so they can take turns paying gas or whatever. And I'm like, but why are they going to Chicago? And then
Second City, man. It's like if it doesn't work in New York, Chicago.
Yeah,
Second
I thought
City.
like, oh, if he's a jazz musician, and I was like, oh, he probably is has a gig there or something. And then his driver, valet, whatever. I kind of thought he would be a musician too because he's friends with Al, right? I think
Right,
yeah,
I think-
Adam Driver's character.
Al Cody.
Al Cody, there we go, yeah. And then I don't know, there was something very like country about him. I thought he was gonna be like a country singer or something, if that was a thing. Then
Yeah, it says right here that he's a jazz musician, Roland Turner. That's John Goodman's character.
great name, by the way. I don't know why, but I fucking love that name.
And then beat poet Johnny Five. So apparently the other guy's a beat poet. Which,
What is a beat poet? Can you tell me, Billy?
Someone plays bongos and the guy goes like, buses, subways, skylines, electrical lines.
Oh my
What
God.
does it mean?
Is that
And
not
people go,
slam poetry or whatever?
No, slam poetry is like, I hate racism. Racism is
Racism hates me. Okay, I got you.
it's a little similar. A lot of snaps
There was
going
only one
on.
part that I was kind of bummed with Johnny Five's character is when he finally decides to talk to Llewyn. He says something, but I couldn't hear what the fuck he said, like because he talks so like low and quiet.
right.
And then I felt like those were the only lines I didn't understand because everything else was just like, yeah, nah, like whatever, just like one word, 2 words until he's like in the restaurant and he's like reading his poetry or whatever. But I thought like it seemed like a really important moment when he's just talking to Llewyn to Llewyn essentially, and then
It's almost like he was
I was
talking
like,
to
fuck.
himself though. Like he just wanted to talk, and he thought everybody else was asleep, which they kind of were.
Yeah,
but it woke
that's
up
true, yeah.
Llewyn. And then
That's
he
true.
finally, once Llewyn responds to him, he just shuts up after that.
okay,
Yeah, but I know he says something about the brig, and he's like, the police shut us down after 3 weeks.
oh, is that what he said?
Yeah,
You caught
that's like the
okay.
last thing he says. I forgot what the first couple sentences are, but
There's a drug dealer maybe as well.
no, I don't. I remember looking it up at one point, like, because I don't even think it says it in the commentary,
Oh,
the
okay.
captions or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I actually looked up like a draft of the script to see what he says or something, you know.
Oh shit! Okay.
And he's talking about like a show, like a television or show or something, or like a
The
I don't
Brig?
know. Yeah, yeah.
So the show is, huh?
Yeah, or maybe it was like a play or something that he was doing, but he was talking about like a show of some
Okay.
sort.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say because it seemed like really important whatever he was trying to tell him, and then I was like, damn, I didn't catch that. And to our many adoring fans out there, we try to watch these movies without subtitles because, I mean, like anyone who watches things with subtitles, there can be something that literally gives given away 1 second before it happens. So we try to watch it without subtitles, and it was going well. It I think it was literally just that part where I was like, fuck, I couldn't understand what he said.
Yeah.
I really wanted to know.
Mm-hmm. Did we watch a British movie recently and turn on the subtitles because it was British? It's like different language, basically.
It was probably 28 Days Later, I guess.
Okay. They talk like that. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, man. I got this one line stuck in my head, like Eric Andre. He goes, "Do you want to hear my British impersonation?" And I was like, "Sure." She's like, "I'm going through heroin withdrawals," and I don't know why, but that shit's been stuck in my head ever since I've heard it. So now that's gonna be my British impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my first time seeing this movie.
Right.
I've been wanting to watch it for a while now because it always sounded just interesting. And then I also really like Oscar Isaac as an actor. Give or take, I guess. But overall, I like him. So, and then the Coen brothers, I'll literally watch anything that they write or co-write or whatever, or direct code, whatever the situation is. But yeah, man, it was cool. As of now, I really have to think about it. But for movies that have been directed and written by them, it's probably towards like my least favorite. Mm-hmm. Like just thinking about like the ones I know where they have both written and directed it. Yeah, it's kind of just like automatically at the bottom right now.
Okay.
But it was still like a cool story. Like I get it. It seems like a pretty weirdly realistic tale of someone who's trying to make it as a musician in the 60s. Especially those hardcore ones who are just like, I can't work a normal job. I'm trying to become a fucking rock star or like whatever. I'm trying to make it or whatever. And I'm like, bro, you perform one night like once a week at night. You could easily get a fucking day job. Like stop being a fucking bum. Write about your struggles, about hating your job like every other fucking normal person.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah.
Get a goddamn job.
Could you say this is a cautionary tale about being a folk musician?
It's a cautionary tale that you're just gonna end up back at a normal job at the end of the fucking day.
Trying to do art in general, really, because it's like because especially this guy, he's like putting so much of his heart into it. He's very earnest. That's going to be the new word I try to drop in every podcast. But yeah, he takes himself very seriously, and like a lot. Like he ends up being a co-writer for like this like silly novelty song, and like he doesn't get the royalties for it.
Yeah, because he needed the money right away. Which I was just like, oh, you fucking idiot. I was like, I get it. Like
he's desperate.
I was like, I get it. He needed the cash now, but I was just like, dude, that's gonna be jack shit compared to like a royalty, depending on like obviously how long it goes. I mean, you never know, right? But
you can tell he probably thought the song stunk.
Well, yeah, he didn't like it.
Yeah, he's like, you wrote this, so he's probably like, that's not gonna be anything.
Well, it seems like he hates that like novelty music, right? Like it's like it's a joke, like it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be serious.
Yeah. But it's more successful than folk music is a lot of the times.
Yeah, it should be.
They allude to it later on. He meets a friend of a friend, and they say, "Oh, we heard your new pressing of the astronaut song. It's gonna be a hit."
Oh yeah.
Royalties.
Yeah. Oh, I know. She even says it's like, oh, that's the great thing about that industry is like one good hit, and you're kind of set or whatever, right? Because of royalties. And yeah, you can just see this look on his face, like, ugh, like. But yeah, man, he really. I'm almost convinced that he doesn't like any music other than his own, dude. Because anytime anyone mentions anything else, he just kind of almost rolls his eyes without rolling his eyes, or actually rolls his eyes. It seems like
he's very dismissive of everybody else's like music.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, they'll have nice, funny hats, or like they wear funny clothes, or like he just.
I like the sweaters. Yeah, it's like four folk singers. He's like, I like the sweaters,
It's probably like defense mechanisms because he's like, he probably sees them as competition. Like, oh, these people are like
back then,
maybe as good as me, so I have to belittle them in some way.
Right.
Back then, that probably would have been their band name too, the Sweaters, because it's all just the and a noun. So I could see something like that. But yeah, and then I mean, obviously, when he's recording the Kennedy song with Justin Timberlake's character, Jim. Wait, Jim, right?
Jim, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, he chuckles. He's like, who wrote this? He's like, I did. He's like, oh, right. And then, yeah, so you can just tell he doesn't fucking like it. Like, he thinks it's, I don't know, fucking stupid or worth, like, it's not something to laugh with. It's something to laugh at. More is kind of what he was leaning towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his character takes things seriously, like, in every aspect. Like, not even just the music, but just in his life and his career ambitions and everything. Like it's
Yeah. He's very the most whatever archetypical, stereotypical, like I'm an artist, you know, like this is my art, you know, I fucking don't have a job, I couch surf, I like all I drink is, or all I have to consume is fucking coffee and cigarettes, you know?
Right.
He's like the most fucking, besides a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction, he's probably like the most stereotypical, like I'm an artist kind of fucking character. He's like, I fuck around, you know, I don't care who gets pregnant or whatever, because clearly he's gone through like multiple abortions at this point or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. He seems to be just that guy, like just that kind of fucking artist. And yeah, his character, I don't think I expected to like him, but his character is also just not likable either. Which is kind of, I feel like
it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I think that is the point. Yeah, we're not really supposed to like him, but it is kind of refreshing to see a movie like that every once in a while, because I'm tired of always liking the main characters. Like, because you know what? Sometimes the main character is a fucking asshole, and you know, I kind of wish more people rolled with that.
Yeah, he definitely deserved a lot of the stuff that was coming to him in this movie.
Oh, totally, man.
So what about that cat?
What does it mean? What is the symbolism behind the cat?
Yeah, what is the symbolism behind the cat?
Mr. Ulysses.
Ulysses.
He is the cat, bro. No, I was just kidding.
Right, well, do you remember that? That's like a line earlier on when he leaves the apartment with the cat, and he calls his friends, because his friend's a professor. And he says,
you're right.
Like, it's Llewyn, Llewyn, tell him I have the cat. And then she's like, Llewyn is the cat.
Which, you know, it's the 60s. They were calling each other cats back then. Maybe it's just like a mistranslation.
He's a cat. You know,
Yeah,
he's a
he
cool
is the
cat.
cat.
He's a cool
He's the
cat.
cat,
Yeah.
man.
cat. Yeah,
That's a good point, RJ. Actually, was that the foreshadowing, or did the Coen brothers just flat out tell us, no, he is the cat?
He is the cat.
He is supposed to represent the cat.
He's going on this amazing journey right now.
Yeah. It's Five Goes
Yeah.
West. No, I'm just kidding. No. It's an American tale. The cat.
He's definitely a cat trying to land on its feet a little bit. Like, that's kind of Llewyn's character.
Yeah, see, we had a soundboard. That's when we would do the rim shot. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, rim shot.
Yeah, rim shot. No,
Air horn, really.
first of all, now that I think about it, the cat was probably my favorite character. The cat was adorable, dude. Fucking Ulysses, and the other one that he never named or whatever. You know, just orange cats. They all share one brain cell or whatever.
Could have been the same actor as well. That's 2 roles for this cat. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, cat playing
acting.
dual roles, man. That's awesome.
I don't know how much of the $11 million budget or whatever did that cat take up. It's probably just someone's cat from the movie, dude. Like, it's like the Coen brothers cat.
It was pretty good at acting.
Yeah.
I like watched it, and it was like moving in the frame at like the perfect times.
Yeah,
and it like knew the cues.
It's
So I was
definitely
like,
a
damn,
well-trained
cat.
cat for sure.
It was CGI.
No CGI is that good. No, I'm just kidding. It still looks better than cats. No, but I thought like some moments of the cat were just so predictable. Like, as soon as he lit that cigarette and he opened the window, I was like, it's gonna fucking run out. And 2 seconds later, I was like, oh, you fucking idiot. And I don't know, it's called it, but
Obviously, Llewyn wasn't a cat owner, because any educated cat owner would know that.
you don't leave the fucking window.
Yeah,
open.
you get the cat one opportunity to get out of the house, and they will go.
Yeah.
It's like the most stereotypical. And then like, so this cat fucking typically lives somewhere in the Upper West Side of like Manhattan, probably.
Right.
Which is, you saw that apartment. That apartment's balling. That apartment has a fucking, not only an elevator, but a service operator to that elevator. And you only did that with fucking rich buildings back then. And so think about it, dude. This cat was living the life, and it still bolts the first fucking chance it gets. That is the most realistic cat ever, dude.
Yeah.
I wanted to, I don't know. They wrote this cat so well, dude. It's such a believable story from the cat's perspective. But I love the cat. But yeah, there was moments where I was really thinking like, okay, this cat obviously has to mean something deeper. And then I thought it kind of became clear when, so there's a scene where they're like, you know, they're driving home, or they're driving to Chicago, and I guess they kind of just pull over to sleep because they're all tired. the cop starts messing with Johnny Five, right?
Johnny Five.
Yeah, he starts messing with Johnny Five and arrests Johnny Five. So Johnny Five gets taken, and Johnny had the fucking keys, unfortunately. So you got John Goodman's character passed out in the back from a fucking heroin high, and Llewyn just has nothing to do. All he has is a guitar case. It's fucking snowing.
Mm-hmm.
He's still not close. Well, he's like a few hours away from Chicago, and he's getting his stuff. He sees the cat, and damn, dude, that cat was almost well too trained. It might have been CGI, because not only did it look sad when Llewyn was looking at him, I swear, like he did this like very subtle like paw forward thing, like he's trying to
like he's gonna come forward.
Yeah, like he wants
come
to like
pick me up.
Yeah,
You,
exactly.
right?
Like, you know, when he's trying to like get your attention kind of thing, and then Llewyn really looks like just stares at him for a while, and I think he knew it was wrong to leave him, but you know, in Llewyn's mind, he's just like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I'm not gonna walk with this cat through a fucking snowstorm for like a few hours or whatever. So that scene, that might have been my favorite scene, honestly. I was like, damn, dude, this fucking cat. He's just that's a talented ass cat, bro.
If he is the cat, is that him leaving his old self behind?
I think so. In a way, yeah.
Because you have to think, like, right after that, that's when he goes to Chicago and does the little audition with the music guy at Gate of Horn. And he says, like, I don't see a lot of money in this. And then Llewyn pretty much gives up his music like career after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I think you're right, honestly. And that's kind of how I was looking at it too, where this was basically his last opportunity, and this is like the last time we see Llewyn be just kind of like a real like selfish asshole. He leaves the cat behind, and he
also berates a lady on the stage, but.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I feel like that would happen either way. Honestly, that's a scene. He was obviously upset that it turns out that whatever that girl fucking sleeps with for spots at the gaslight or whatever. But yeah, I think in Llewyn's head, everything. Well, it is about him, right? Like he's a very just self-centered person. So he's like, you know what? Like I can't take this cat. Like I got to do my thing. I got to take care of me. You know, this cat, whatever, might get in the way of my dreams. So he does one last selfish thing by leaving it behind. He goes and auditions, gets turned down again, even though you can see he really like put his like soul into this audition, and he still gets turned down. And I think that was kind of the moment that Llewyn realizes maybe this wasn't made for me, or maybe I wasn't made for it, like, or people just aren't there yet. Like they're not ready for like folk music, and I can't keep doing this. Because then after that, he starts talking about going back to work as what do you do?
A merchant marine. So it was like a fisherman and like cargo ships, I think.
Yeah, right. Okay, because I was thinking like kind of longshoreman, but then he talks about having a pilot's license. I was like, oh, so that means he was actually like probably driving a boat or something at some point.
Right. Yeah. I forgot what exactly a merchant marine is, but
United States merchant.
Civilian mariners and merchant vessels, and I think they do cargo stuff.
Okay. Damn, and that was probably good pay back then too. I know he's talking about like a union, whatever, blah blah blah. So yeah, but yeah, because after that final shot in Chicago, he finally just kind of, I don't know, kind of hangs it up in a sense. He's like, you know what, like I go back to the merchant marine, whatever. Oh, well, I guess it was really because also we find out that he has a kid that he thought was aborted, basically.
Right. They
But
keep
I know that was
talking.
before,
They
obviously,
keep talking about another chick that had an abortion
Diane.
before Jean.
Yeah. Because Jean was pregnant. He was going to pay for an abortion. And then so he goes to talk to the doctor again. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. This one's on the house. And even I was like, okay, no one just covers an abortion. Like, this is
I'm
like,
doing a pro bono.
Yeah, I was like, this is probably a pretty expensive procedure back then, you know, because it's pretty like hush hush. And he's like, well, because the last one. He's like, what do you mean because of the last one? And they're like, because it didn't take. And we're like, what? And like, no, she ended up staying with, you know, it. And then he says like, oh, so that would put the kid at like 2 years old.
Right.
So he has like a 2-year-old somewhere in Akron, Ohio, and didn't fucking know it. So that I felt like that was like the other thing where he's just like, yeah, I really got to get my fucking shit together. Cause I don't know if he's ever gonna go back to the kid and like introduce himself or whatever, but probably better to have a job than a fucking couch surfer of a dad, you know. So I think that was like the other thing that was like the first thing that was like, okay, I might need to give up this whole dream of becoming a fucking famous folk singer.
Does he actually get the job at the end? Because I know he applies to get it, and they're like, "Oh, you need to pay like $80 or something like that."
Yeah, because he lost his license or whatever.
And he tries again, and it's like there's some other barricade in the way. So does he ever actually get the job? I feel like it just kind of ends with him.
So we don't
at the
see
Gaslight.
Right, he goes back to work at the Gaslight again. So I don't know.
So maybe he doesn't get the job. Maybe he just keeps doing his like meandering, playing the Gaslight every other week, and just just twiddling his thumbs. You know, like maybe.
Yeah, there's
he
also
doesn't get the job because it's just too much of a headache at that point. So he's just like, fuck it.
There's a little bit of like a Groundhog's Day effect because I don't know if you remember the beginning scene where he goes outside and talks to the man with the suit and the black hat. It's kind of a shadowy figure almost, and then he kicks his ass. He kicks Llewyn Davis's ass, and then later on at the end of the movie, actually, it repeats the same thing again, and it's almost like he's stuck in like a weekly Groundhog's Day, just like going through the same cycle again, you know.
And it turns out that guy is like the husband of the lady he berates.
Yeah,
he's on the stage, I think.
Yeah,
he talks about his wife.
Yeah, because we see him go back to the Gaslight or whatever, and I forgot the guy who operates the Gaslight, or at least he's in charge of the acts and stuff. He reveals that he slept with Jean because he offered her a spot, and the only way she would get that spot is if she slept with him, and he gets all pissed off about it because whatever. I mean, Jean's his friend or whatever, and you know. Then he berates this poor, sweet-looking lady from Arkansas who is playing, what is that, a harpsichord or whatever?
It's like some like harp thing, yeah. It's like I don't want to. It's like a hurdy-gurdy without the wheel.
Yeah, without the crank or whatever.
The crank on it,
yeah. So I think it's called a harpsichord. I could totally be wrong, but it did look like kind of like a more portable harp. And she's just playing the sweet like
Porta
little
harp, maybe.
Porta harp.
I think that might actually be what it's called.
Just making shit up now.
And so he gets drunk, he berates her, tells her like, oh, show me your panties or whatever, gets kicked out. And then the next day happens where he goes back to the Gaslight, performs, does probably one of his best performances, it seems like the whole crowd was super into it. And then
he belts it out when he sings at that time, like more than he does the other times.
Instead of just like kind of softly singing it. Like
exactly, kind of screams, a little bit of grit to his voice. So
yeah,
for sure.
So I thought, speaking on that, actually, I am more thinking that he does go back to becoming like a mariner, or whatever we said, or
merchant marine,
merchant marine, because he kind of gives that up, and then when he plays again, he plays it because he loves the music and not so much because it's like him trying to make it or him trying to make money with it, you know. So he finds kind of like the soul in it again instead of like just the financial reasons to do something like that. So I thought that's like why maybe he also gave like probably the best performance he did at the end. And then also his other probably best performance was when he was auditioning, because that was kind of his last hope, you know.
Right.
So like I got to give it all right here, right now, or this is it, it's over. And then so I did like that full circle thing when he comes back and he goes like, oh, your friend's in the alley or whatever, and then he gets his ass kicked. Because then I was trying to remember, wait, when did we see that scene where he first gets his ass kicked? Because I got kind of not lost, but I was trying to remember. I was like, wait, I don't remember when that scene happened.
Yeah, it was right at the beginning because it starts off with him singing the song, the "Hang Me, Oh Hang Me."
Oh, okay.
And then he goes and talks to Poppy at the bar, and he says, Poppy says, your friend's out back. He wants to talk to you, and then he goes out to him and gets his ass kicked.
So that was like the opening scene, basically.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
What did he get his ass kicked for that time?
It doesn't say. Yeah.
Or was it the same ass kicking at both times, kind of bookended, like in the beginning and the end?
Right? It's like the same ass kicking, right?
That's kind of what I assumed. Is that's the same ass kicking, same day.
Yeah, because he says it's like, oh, you like editing. He's like, you like making
trick.
Fun of people or something like that. You like,
but he. Yeah. Well, he didn't say he
says
didn't
it both times.
Yeah. Well, he didn't say anything about like my wife up
No,
there.
you hear that at the very
Right.
end.
Yeah,
Open your
but
mouth. Time. Yeah.
But he just says like you stand up while people are on stage and like open your mouth and like whatever. Like, makes fun of them. Yeah, but he didn't. I don't think he says anything specifically about who or.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
it could have been about anybody at that point.
So the two, whatever, the one or two instances, I guess, depending who you ask about him getting his ass kicked in the alley, he says all the same exact things, except the second time he adds a little bit more information because as he's walking away, you hear him a little bit more. He's just like, oh, something, my wife or whatever. And
my wife.
Like, my wife. And he talks about like, oh, you can have this cesspool. So it seems like he's leaving with his wife because I'm guessing they're both from fucking Arkansas or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, is this a Groundhog Day situation? What the fuck?
Right? Yeah, because it's not like it's because I know the first couple times I watched the movie, or maybe just the first time, I thought it was like the same scene, like he was just I don't know, like flashing foreshadowing. Like it shows the the end scene at the very beginning, and then it goes through the whole movie type of thing.
Yeah.
But he plays a different song in between.
Right, the Bob Dylan one.
Yeah,
versus his song in the beginning.
Because at the first scene, he just does the "Hang Me, Oh Hang Me" song, and then you
hear Bob Dylan in the
yeah.
last scene while he's getting his ass kicked. You hear it behind through the walls,
right?
basically.
But he also performs the "Fare Thee Well" or "Fare Me" or whatever, the one song that he plays throughout the whole movie, "Fare Thee Well."
Okay,
he plays that one last, and then he talks to Poppy, and then goes outside and gets his ass kicked.
Shit, you're right. Okay,
so that's when I was like,
man.
I think I realized that like the third or fourth watch of it, and I was like, oh, it's not the same scene. It's
right.
Like
Okay,
almost like a Groundhog Day thing.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he didn't get his ass kicked by two different shadowy figures like a week apart from each other. But damn, now I'm really gonna have to fucking think about like what was that? I mean,
like the Mystery Man in Lost Highway.
Yeah, what does it mean, man? This is the Mystery Man and inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah, there's no like rhyme or reason to it. It just exists.
Yeah. One theory that I heard when I got really into this movie and I was like looking around, was that he's in purgatory and that dude's
it's always purgatory, bro.
Like
that's
the devil or something.
That dude's the devil,
theory,
of course, right? Yeah. I thought that one was really funny.
The devil's married to a lady likes to sing with a harp. I guess.
Right. It's always fucking purgatory, dude. Every time there's a theory about a kid's show or a movie or whatever, blah blah, it's fucking purgatory. But I do actually want to look a little bit more into this now because I want to see what people are saying or like kind of what more they're leaning towards. Like, is it a Groundhog's Day? Is it a fucking, I don't know. Did he really get his ass kicked by two different shadowy figures like a week apart from each other? Whatever.
Yeah.
But the second time he's just more specific about it.
It's just because I'm like, bro, what are the odds? And then like, because if you got your ass kicked once by a shadowy figure, and then someone's like, hey, someone's looking out for you, or someone's looking for you in the alley, and you see basically the same shadowy figure, I don't think you're gonna get closer to him, you know, unless he wants to get his ass kicked, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, it sounds like there's no way that it's the two different ones a fucking week apart from each other. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to think about it.
That seemed to add some mystery to the movie. I think that's kind of the intention a little bit. It makes you think about it.
I definitely didn't see it coming, so I thought that was a really interesting way to end the movie. It's just basic because I really thought it was just kind of bringing it back to that opening scene, letting you know like we were actually watching the end of the movie when we started it.
Right.
But then you pointed out that he actually performed a different song, so I'm like, oh wait, maybe so that's not the case then. So shit, yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to think about it, honestly. Yeah, Bentley, was this your first time seeing it?
I think my second time seeing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know I showed it to him before.
Definitely knew what to expect this time.
You've seen a few Coen Brothers movies at this point, right?
Yeah, a good amount.
Yeah.
I haven't seen like some of their first ones, but yeah, I've seen a good amount of them.
Okay.
Definitely love like Fargo and.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Serious Man is really good.
I love it. Yeah, I think Serious Man is going to be one of the more underrated ones.
And I'm neglecting to mention another one, but I haven't seen Raising Arizona.
I need to rewatch Raising Arizona.
Yeah, that was one I only watched once.
Yeah. Same. So yeah, I would definitely like to watch that one again. And
But
yeah, so I was trying to pick because Coen Brothers, they definitely have like certain tropes that they like to use, especially when it comes to like minor side characters and stuff.
Right.
They like to make them very distinguished, and sometimes a little bit of the dialogue too. Like there's like a lot of I feel like in movies there's always somebody that just kind of repeats what they just said, and that's what I was getting off of that Jean character a lot. She'd be like, you know, you're an asshole, blah, 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 something. And it's like, oh, right, because you're an asshole. And then I think also like that, the private, whatever, the soldier who was crashing on the couch or whatever.
Troy Nelson.
basically Joe Pera or whatever his name is. That one comedian
Yeah, he's
on
very
YouTube.
just like, I don't know, nice and wholesome looking, you know?
Yeah, basically the same exact guy.
I could see that.
There was something about his dialogue that just kind of reminded me of how Coen Brothers write certain characters. But yeah, besides that, man, I wasn't really picking up a lot of like Coen Brothers vibes, except for like the really notable like side characters, which in reality to me was just kind of more like John Goodman character and Johnny Five.
Right.
But I don't know, man. This movie was fucking gloomy. Like I just thought it was
very
so
dark.
The color palette is very like yeah, exactly. No, it's very like muted or I guess dull. It's just like it's not vibrant at all. Like whatever the opposite of vibrant is. This movie has a lot of browns and
it's not as
greens
dark as like a David Fincher kind of fucking color palette, but it's basically on its way there. Honestly.
I feel like
this is very like the tones were very depressing.
It looks like what an album cover from that time would look like. Kind of like it's like if you've seen the album cover for the Free Will and Bob Dylan at all, it's like that. I feel like that might have kind of influenced the aesthetic of it because it kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
Oh, okay.
The grainy sort of dark look to it, the look of New York and stuff.
Yeah. It could also just be like, I don't know, his depression or something.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, his life is pretty depressing, I guess. So
It's also getting
makes
towards
sense.
winter time too.
Right,
You
yeah,
need to get a
cold
winter
time.
coat, so
Yeah,
I think that it is like a wintry vibe of the colors.
Yeah, just because, you don't see the sun like once throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
It's just
Yeah.
clouds every time he's outside.
Yeah, there is like daytime, but yeah, even then it's clouds and snow basically. But yeah, I just remember thinking the colors and the tone and all the shots. I was like, God, dude, this shit is so sad. And that's why it kind of, I don't know, I felt like it never really got in that vibe from a Coen Brothers movies. And they've done obviously like serious movies, but I'm trying to think of something that they did. That was just this, I don't know, bleak, I guess.
Good word
Not
for it.
really.
I mean, they did a black and white movie. That was like, that was the,
Look at the man who wasn't there.
right. Yeah, that was like, I guess the tone they were going for was, but I don't know.
That was a little bit, I don't know. I feel like even that wasn't as like depressing as this one.
Right. This one's definitely very depressing.
It is like a quintessential failed artist, musician kind of story for sure.
Cautionary tale.
And everybody who's successful is like doing like novelty, silly songs. Well, this guy is just like really putting his heart out.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I
Yeah.
think is pretty funny.
Yeah, there was so much of the. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Like the whole maybe he's well, I think. Sorry, I'm basically gonna have to just start my statement over. But at the very end of the movie, we see basically what is supposed to be Bob Dylan. It doesn't say it's Bob Dylan, but I guess he does play a Bob Dylan song, right? When his famous
Yeah,
ones
it's like
or whatever.
alluded to it. You can see by his hair and
Yeah, like you can tell by his
It's
shape that
definitely
it's
Bob
a
Dylan.
voice
Like,
and-
like for 100%. Like if you know who Bob Dylan is, that's Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
There he
exactly.
is.
I mean, even I don't listen to Bob Dylan, but I know what he looks like. So when I saw like
Robert
his,
Zimmerman.
when I saw his silhouette and you see Llewyn really staring at him like there's something, I don't know, special about him or whatever. And then I was thinking like, oh, that's supposed to be Bob Dylan. And I guess there's supposed to be this whole I don't think irony is the right word that I'm looking for, but as basically Llewyn is giving up on folk music, here comes the most fucking famous folk singer, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
as he's like as Llewyn's giving up, the most fucking famous folk singers like trying to make it in New York or whatever. So there's a nice little irony, maybe. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but yeah, it is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So
I will say something about this music is that I feel like that Bob Dylan song it felt like the only song that was actually made in the 60s that was in this movie, because all the songs like sound like they're supposed to be from the 60s, but they kind of have this vibe to them that they were like made by like the Mumford and Sons or like the Fleet Foxes. Like they have this like modern kind of tinge to them, especially with the vocal delivery.
Yeah.
The vocal delivery is like very like pretty, and like they weren't like really singing like that so much in the 60s, I feel like, especially the folk singers.
Yeah, I guess it would be pretty hard to try to imitate, like not only like the type of music, but like the actual sound, like the way that people, like the cadence and like those singers' voices and stuff. It'd be, I guess, pretty hard to imitate. But
Yeah, it says a couple of the songs were
They're written, like some of the folk songs were written a long time ago.
some say traditional.
yeah, some of them
songs.
it says traditional, so I'm assuming those are like, just classic.
But
You know.
recorded though, like the
Well, yeah,
recording
they're-
of it, like they sound very like new. Like I feel like that Bob Dylan song was the only song I heard in there. I was like, oh yeah, this actually sounds like a song from the 60s.
Right.
In my
well,
opinion.
Yeah. Because
In
I
my
mean,
opinion.
they use most of the people from the movie as their actual voices. I know that. I know Oscar Isaac sung like
Right.
most of, if not all of his music.
And he could play the guitar apparently, because I was looking at his fingers and like he was like, that's the chords.
Honestly,
Like,
I remember hearing something that he was like in a rock band at some point, but I think that was just like a lot of actors' stories.
Yeah,
like,
he
they're,
probably
Johnny
was.
Depp.
Well, I do know there's a really
Keanu
famous there's a really famous video that blew up last year where he because he's Guatemalan and he teamed up with this girl who won some like talent competition who's also Guatemalan, or she either won or got second place or something like that, and they did a song together. And the people who didn't watch Inside Llewyn Davis, which is a lot of people because it only made $33 million in the box office, kind of realized like, holy shit, like Oscar Isaac can actually sing and play the guitar. Like he sounded fucking great.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it's a
he's-
cool video.
I think he
got a
had
great
to
voice.
audition with like music as well too.
yeah, for sure.
That would make sense.
You
yeah.
can tell they went after an actor who actually knew how to play guitar.
Yeah, I
for
think
this.
they were specifically looking for someone who could play the guitar too.
definitely authentic.
Yeah.
So
Like
that's pretty cool.
it didn't seem like he was ad-libbing, or not ad-libbing, but doing a voiceover, whatever that's called,
Right,
lip-syncing to the
lip-syncing.
song, or like he wasn't
Milli Vanilli.
exactly. He wasn't air guitaring or anything. It was, that part was actually very authentically done, I think.
I mean, they also got Justin Timberlake, who actually really can sing and play guitar.
Yeah,
and
probably plays
stuff.
guitar.
Yeah, I felt
Wouldn't
so
doubt it.
bad for his character, dude. He seemed like such a nice, genuine guy, and then his girlfriend's a fucking whore, and then his best friend is sleeping with his girlfriend, or I don't know about best friend, but whatever. They were obviously close.
I think the main reason why this guy's music doesn't take off, because you hear it and you're like, yeah, that's pretty good. Like I felt it or whatever. But I feel like he just is missing that X factor. And like you see that X factor in like all these other musicians, like even that guy who's in the army or whatever, and like has to like leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like he has like something about him, like some like whippersnapper, like wholesome thing. Like he has, but like Llewyn Davis is just a fucking drip. He's just a fucking sad sap, you know. He's just like. There's
What's
just, like-
Elliott Smith or whatever? He's the
Yeah,
Elliott
right,
Smith of the
basically.
60s folk scene.
Like he's definitely missing that X factor, even though the music is like, all right. There's just nothing else really to sell.
He doesn't
with
have
him.
it. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
what it is,
exactly.
but he doesn't have it.
I also thought there was something to who the fuck says it. I don't remember if it's F. Murray's Abraham character or somebody, because he mentions not Troy. Wait, does he mention Adam Driver's character?
What
I
are you
don't
It
talking
was the
about?
army guy, isn't it? No.
No, I forgot the army guy's name.
Troy.
It is Troy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, because he was talking to somebody and he was like, Troy's a good person. He like connects to people.
Right. Yeah.
That's why they
Exactly,
said like
yeah.
he can make it or whatever.
Right. Yeah. That was Bud Grossman, F. Murray Abraham's
Yeah, it
character.
was him, right? Okay, yeah. So
Okay.
I think that was like another thing about him is, back then, not that I don't think you necessarily had to be relatable, but I don't know, if you're just kind of this like standoff, selfish prick, like really no one wanted to work with you back then. So, and like you said, like I don't know, I think Oscar Isaac's character just really gave off that vibe, and that's why kind of no one really liked him. I guess just like here's this guy, here's Troy, this kind of like down to earth. I don't want to call him a simpleton or whatever, but he's just like a nice, normal, down to earth guy. And then there's fucking Llewyn Davis, who's just kind of self centered piece of shit who thinks he's the world's greatest fucking artist already and hasn't done shit to fucking prove it. But, so yeah, I think that's what they were trying to say. Is it's like no one like wants to hear you because they just feel it. Like they're just like, oh, like this guy is just I don't want to be around this fucking guy. I don't want to see this shit.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Especially during that time. You know, the 60s were a different time, man. Nowadays, like, someone like that would be praised on, like, TikTok for keeping it real and...
Like Lil Xan, basically.
Now they'll just call him like autistic or something. They'll be like, no, I don't want to be around people. Like, I don't want to work with anybody. I just want to stay to myself and, you know, count my M&Ms or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's just so funny because, like, yeah, again, it's been a while since I've seen a movie where the main character isn't supposed to be likable. So it's always kind of like a small hurdle to overcome for a lot. But overall, I mean, I still genuinely enjoyed the movie. I thought it was kind of cool. But probably, yeah, like I'd have to think about it. But probably like my least favorite Coen Brothers movie that I've seen so far.
Yeah, it's
I've seen a lot of them at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely one of them that's least like the rest of them. There's a couple out of their like almost 20 movies that definitely stand out, like as being different. You know, like Blood Simple is just like almost like a slasher movie. Like that was their very first movie. And that one is something
to watch too. That's one of the few.
Right. That was their very first one. So it was before they kind of developed all their little nuances,
their tropes
and nuances that they do. And then like No Country for Old Men is very different as well.
Yeah, and that is like they directed it, but they wrote the screenplay for it. Right?
Yeah. But they wrote and directed pretty much all their movies. Yeah. There's like a handful of movies that they wrote but didn't direct, but yeah, they write everything they direct.
Yeah, but No Country I know was based off a book or whatever.
Right, but they wrote the screenplay for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I was saying like. So, I mean, they couldn't go too far off the source material, you know, to make it completely their own.
Well, they could have. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, you could, but I don't know. I think
I've actually heard it's really not that similar to the book. Like,
really?
they do change it up a lot.
Oh,
so.
wow. Okay. Well, I haven't read the book, so I have no idea.
I haven't read it either, so
yeah,
I could be very wrong.
That could be a good read, actually. I'm looking for a book to read.
I heard Cormac McCarthy is kind of a hard read.
Yes, I would not recommend it. He doesn't put punctuation in his books at all. So if you,
really?
Yeah, he doesn't put quotations in his book, quotation marks, so you don't know who's talking or when they're talking.
Interesting.
So good luck with that.
Okay, for sure.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, this was all one of the Coen Brother movies that it's always towards the top of my list, but every time I rewatch one of their movies, I'm like rethinking about like my list and like, oh no, this one's in the top 3 now. And
you're like, oh man, I really like Llewyn Davis, and then you watch a few other Coen Brothers, and you're like, damn, I really like this one actually. So we're gonna have to put Llewyn Davis back down one, and then one. And
yeah. It's like every time I rewatch one of their movies, it switches around my list again. But
yeah, because I need to watch Blood Simple because I've never seen it. I'd have to rewatch Raising Arizona. And then the Hudsucker Proxy.
Yeah.
I think those are the only ones that I haven't seen that they both direct and wrote.
You haven't seen Intolerable Cruelty?
Oh, fuck, you're right.
And then Lady Killers. I know you said you watched that one as a kid, right?
Yeah. But
that's
not
also, recently.
I think
it's a remake, but they wrote the screenplay and directed it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they just did one and not the other. Okay,
nope, they did all of it. Okay, I know they did Gambit, which they wrote and didn't direct, like 2012.
I don't know that one.
I forgot who's in it. Cameron Diaz and someone else.
No idea, honestly.
It's a British actor. I don't remember who. But usually their movies that they write and they don't direct aren't really that great because it's almost like they're writing it for their directing lens, and like other people can't.
And the director's not really picking that up,
right? Yeah, they can't direct that script. So.
Like Tarantino, basically, like when all the scripts he's written, people can't really do very well. Oliver Stone trying to do Natural Born Killers and stuff.
Yeah, well, I heard Oliver Stone like switched up a lot of the scripts because at the end of the day, he only got a story by for Quentin Tarantino.
Well, he insisted, I think, on dropping the credit of written by because he's like, I didn't write it. Like,
that
was Tarantino's decision.
Because it was changed so much.
For what?
Natural Born Killers.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
He kind of disowned it a little bit.
Yeah.
The director kind of ruined it. He thinks
True Romance was really good.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote that one, written and not directed.
Yeah, and then
but it really does feel like a Tarantino movie.
It does, yeah.
Does it?
I don't remember who directed that one.
I don't remember either.
But what's the vampire one?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn. He wrote that, but not directed it because
Tarantino, he didn't write that.
I thought he wrote it.
I'm pretty sure he didn't. And
No, I think he wrote it.
Yeah, I think
I'm
he
pretty sure he wrote it.
and then Robert Rodriguez directed it.
I don't think so.
At least co-wrote it, but I'm pretty sure he did write it.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay, he co-wrote it with Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, see, I thought so, yeah.
But yeah, I know he was one of the writers for it.
I bet he wrote
Tony
the scene.
Scott did True Romance.
Tony Scott.
Yeah, he also did Top Gun, Man on Fire, Crimson Tide, Deja Vu, Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Not the first one, though?
I don't know. I was kind of looking at I hate Google because like the quick one just tells you what he's done, but not at what capacity.
Right. He could have been a fucking actor
Like a producer
or
or something. Yeah, exactly. Tony Scott. Yeah.
Tony Scott.
But yeah, if you watch True Romance, you would really think that fucking Tarantino directed it. It has such Tarantino vibes throughout the whole fucking thing. Oh, he did direct most of those. Yeah, Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop 2.
He did The Last Boy Scout, which I want to watch that one. That was also a Shane Black one.
Oh, dude, I'll watch anything Shane Black does. I'm down. I want to watch the Lethal Weapon series, honestly, again.
All right. Well, since we're kind of getting a little off topic, any last minute thoughts on Inside Llewyn Davis or maybe the Coen brothers or something like that?
I would just say if you like depressing movies about artists, you'll probably like Inside Llewyn. Or if you just really like folk music, you'll probably really like Inside Llewyn Davis. Again, probably one of my least favorite Coen brothers movies. Not saying it's a bad Coen brothers movie. It's just one of my least favorites. But they also set the bar pretty high with their own movies. So
right, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a good movie. It's sad. It's pretty real, honestly. And yeah, I'd probably give it like 6.5, 6.6, something like that.
I think it's all right. I think it's a pretty good movie. It's a kind of a compelling story, kind of an interesting story of an artist who just like can't quite make it.
It's because Bentley's an artist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's my autobiography. Yeah. But I just thought that like I feel like with a movie like this, the music is the most important thing, and the music just really felt like it was kind of modern, and it felt like it was kind of Mumford and Sonsy. Like when you said Mumford and Sons, I was like, I kind of was feeling that. I was really thinking it was Fleet Foxes, but they're kind of the same a little bit.
Bentley also has an illegitimate child in Akron.
We don't talk about Tim, all right? Timothy. But yeah, it's kind of bleak. It's a little. It's
bleak is probably one of the best
Yeah.
words to describe this movie, honestly.
and it's very dry and cold and
John
Yeah,
Goodman's awesome.
it's not as funny as the rest of
for
the
sure.
Coen
Yeah.
brothers movies.
There's a couple moments, a couple funny moments.
yeah,
like
a couple
dialogue
times
and
where
stuff.
you chuckle or something.
They were their least funny movies.
But it's definitely like a character piece of like a study of like one guy, and yeah, it's good for that, I guess. But definitely
So-
like as far as like as compared to Fargo, this is a completely different ballpark, I would say.
The vibes are totally different for sure.
Yeah, it's no Big Lebowski or
Big Lebowski. But it's worth watching, and
It's a
there's
film.
no other movies like it really, where it's that era with that type of story. It's good.
What about you, RJ? Final thoughts?
I mean, I really love it. I love everything the Coen brothers do for the most part. If they write and direct it, I love it pretty
Yeah.
much.
For sure.
Even their bad movies are good.
Still pretty good.
or
Yeah. It's like pizza.
by comparison,
Even
yeah,
when it's bad,
exactly.
it's still pretty good.
Yeah, even by comparison to other directors, like their bad stuff is even good. So
Yeah,
but this
for
is
sure.
always one of the ones I was in my top like 3 or 5 of their movies. So
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I
Your
just
number
feel-
one, is it still currently Big Lebowski?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
But yeah, that's probably the most recent one I watched too. But
We could do a whole episode just discussing Coen Brothers movies, you know, just like
yes,
about our favorites and why they're our favorites and why they're kind of like in this lineup, or if we have to like rank them, you know. or
I would be all
whatever.
for that. We have to have you guys watch the rest of them, and then
Yeah, I'm only missing a few, but
Yeah.
for sure.
but yeah, but
All right, cool. All right, guys, this has been 3 Hacks in a Movie. I've been Emilio.
I'm Bentley.
and I'm RJ.
All right, have a good night, y'all.
Outer.
Space.
Oh.